Oh my God, look at the color on her pictures. Look at the color on his pictures. And so for me, it's just do you, Cedric.
Welcome to the brndBrief podcast, where we discuss the latest trends on the business side of fashion, beauty, entertainment, and the impact of technology on driving brand growth. This podcast is powered by Brand Method Media Group, and I'm your host, Kelly Kelly. Today's guest is Cedric DeCarlo, the Style Maverick. He's a lifestyle curator, most well known for his catchphrase, "I say yes." Welcome to the show, Cedric.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, let's start with the catchphrase. First of all, how did you come up with this?
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you asked, because people ask me that all the time, or sometimes they're just saying it and they're like, we're just using your phrase, or we don't even really know what it means. Where did it come from? So it actually started with me at home getting dressed, going out to meet some friends. We were going out one night. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to wear. So I was just so annoyed because I was trying on this look and trying on this and trying on that. So after putting on about 2 or 3 different outfits, Kelly, I finally found one that I thought I had nailed. And I said, oh, this is the look right here. So, I guess I was kind of feeling myself a little bit. And I said, oh, I say yes to this. Literally, I just say this out loud. So I was like, oh, I definitely say yes to this. And before you know it, I started doing posts and I would just say, I say yes. I say yes. So that's where I say yes came from. Yes, that's where it came from.
Now, I also want to give clarity and context to exactly what a lifestyle curator is. I want there to be no confusion. So let's talk about what that is and what sort of a day in your life is like as a lifestyle curator.
Oh, wow. So a lifestyle curator is just what it says, lifestyle, curate. A lot of times when we hear the word curate, we think of art. Fashion is art, the places we travel to, the restaurants we dine at, how we live, our home. That is all art. It's all lifestyle, technically, right? So it falls under the umbrella of lifestyle. It's your lifestyle, people that work out, people join certain gyms because this gym is the creme de la creme. So it's lifestyle, curating your lifestyle so that it works for you, for Kelly, or for John Doe or Mrs. Smith or whomever. So a lot of times people, they call and they ask me questions and they're like, oh, can I ask you about this? Or, oh, can I book an appointment to do a consultation with you? And I'm like, oh, absolutely, sure. And we just start curating, putting together their lifestyle, the things that fit their lifestyle and what works for them.
I think that's amazing, because I imagine, as we all have done, in your mind, when you realize you want to change, it's usually in one particular area and then another area. But trying to piece all that together, it can be hard to maintain the vision. So you would come in and say, okay, big picture, we're doing this. And so then if they come back later maybe and say, well, I want to do this. Well, how does that fit into this entire lifestyle that we're talking about, right? Is that
exactly
okay?
Exactly. Yeah. Because when most people think of me, when they think of Cedric DeCarlo, when they hear the Style Maverick, I always say to people, style is not just fashion. Style is a lifestyle. But oftentimes when we hear the word style, we immediately equate it and define it as, oh, fashion. Oh my God, she's so fashionable. He's so fashionable. Oh, he has such style. And so my question is, in what way does he have style? Are we speaking of what he's wearing, what she's wearing? Are we speaking of their surroundings? Because we all have style, right? Whether it's on level 10 or whether it's on level 5, but we all have style. So that's where I then come in and let's curate it and let's elevate it, right? And let's see what areas need to be elevated. Because again, it's not just fashion. It's not just what we wear, the jewelry, the glasses, the clothing. That's not style. Style is a lifestyle.
It's all encompassing. I think that's incredible. So you and I have been friends for quite some time, and you have always had style. Cedric, how long have we been friends?
Kelly, don't make me tell my age on the podcast.
We've probably been friends 20 years. Yeah.
We have been friends for a very long time, since
Yep.
working at a little salon together.
Yep.
We were behind the front desk greeting everyone, coming every day dressed with our fashion so you couldn't tell us anything, looking like you had stepped out of Harper's Bazaar. I was trying to look like I stepped out of GQ magazine.
Yes, we did. And I mean, obviously, you've always had style. How do you feel your brand has evolved over time? Because you have a very unique way of all this time. And I guess because I've known you so long, also, you continue to reinvent yourself, but it's never different. It's not like if we ever fell out of touch and I looked at your Instagram and was like, what is he doing? It all flows. How have you been able to evolve your brand over time while still staying true to your authentic self?
I think that's such a phenomenal question. The key word that you use is authentic self. I think it's very important to be authentic at all times. It's easy to be on social media and start comparing yourself to other people, right? When you're looking at their pages and say, oh my God, his page is so well curated. Oh my God, her page is so well curated. Oh my God, look at the color on her pictures. Look at the color on his pictures. And so for me, it's just do you, Cedric. Do you be your authentic self? Something that my mom taught me as a young kid, or maybe I would say as a teenager, she would always say, know who you are. Know who you are. No, if you let people define you, that's it. But when you know who you are, no one can put you in a box. No one can try to compartmentalize you, right? And so I think you actually kind of answered it. I just try to be authentic as possible. And of course, things change. Look,
Right.
I mean, we were in a pandemic in 2020, right? So now here we are 3 years later, 2023. A lot has happened within those 3 years. So I could keep doing things the same way in 2020, or I could step up to the plate and say, okay, it's 2023. Let's see what I can change. How can I enhance the Style Maverick? What is it that I didn't do that I can now do to make it better? So, and the interesting thing is when you said evolve, I think I'm always evolving. I think
Mhm.
all of us should be constantly evolving. I don't think your brand ever just arrives or makes it, if that makes sense. I'm sorry, I'm kind of talking crazy here. Or if your brand ever makes it, but I think that it should constantly be progressing and evolving, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think a lot of people, even it doesn't really matter what industry they're in, there is this desire to get there and to arrive to something in any business, any industry. And as you mentioned, this is ever evolving. And speaking of social media and tech and all that, as we start to integrate all these things, especially AI, what technological trends do you see influencing your industry? Because it
Ooh.
is so personal to a degree, but we can't ignore the shift with tech. So, how is your brand embracing the changes?
Another great question. You are really getting me with these questions. I will be honest, it has been a little bit challenging for me mentally to accept it. Let me say that right. Because, obviously we all know about the strike that was happening with the actors and everything. And they're just like AI, like they're not going to create
Mm,
some fake character, or whatever, or this artificial character of me when I myself can read the script and do the roles. I think it's the same thing with any business. Now, I'm not speaking negatively about it because, as you said, it is what it is. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's the new thing. I would probably say the new phenomenon, right? So I'm embracing it, still learning about it. I think it does bring a little bit of apprehension for me because now it goes back to what we were just talking about, being authentic, your authentic self, right? Authenticity. Did he really create this, or did she really create this, or would this artificially inseminated? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Is it really his work? Is it really her work? So it has its pros and cons, right? I think it's going to make things a little bit easier, and it's going to lift a little bit of the load or the heaviness of some businesses and brands, even my own, right? But I also still want there to be that true authentic part, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't want everything to be AI and yeah, I don't, with the robots and everything. But again, we can't get away from it. We can't. We can't. So
No,
you
I
accept
agree.
the parts of it that work for you and your brand, and then still try to be authentic and integrate the two.
Yeah. I think that's probably key. Any everybody that I have spoken to that's really a thought leader in the industry still maintains the value of the human connection. It is
No.
important. It is good to know. It is something good to learn. It is something good to get used to because it's going to continue to infiltrate all aspects of our lives, whether we got on our business hat or our everyday life.
Absolutely.
But at the
Absolutely.
same time, we still have to have that human connection. And so for your brand, as a lifestyle curator, you're kind of putting all these pieces together for everyone else. What marketing strategies have proven most effective for you as a brand?
Oh, wow. Good question. It's so funny. I love all of these questions because they all coincide, they all go together. So when we were just talking about, AI, being authentic, the human connection, the marketing strategy for me is just that. It's the human connection, like speaking to you and asking specific questions, right? That's how I go about trying to market myself. It's like, okay, always ask this specific question or these three specific questions. And then you start asking the questions according to exactly what the client needs. And so once you begin to start asking those specific questions, it's easy to know who you can market yourself to, who your client is and who your client is not. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then also too, I'm very big on, I try to read as much as I possibly can. I don't always master that, but I also read a lot of branding books too, learning
Oh,
the language, right? You have to know the proper language. That's another way of marketing yourself. You have to know what language to speak. You have to know the verbiage and the lingo. I don't always get it right, but if you have the proper verbiage, that's another great way of marketing yourself. And then, of course, obviously, we all know the number one thing, social media.
yeah.
It's a free platform. And most of us, I think anybody that has any sort of brand that they're building or any brand that they've already established and built, I think most people would really jump on the bandwagon of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. So these, I think, are great marketing strategies within themselves, right? And again, it all depends on the type of business that you have. So for me, I really try to market myself through these free platforms, social
Yeah.
media, right? I don't have all of them, but I think my biggest one is Instagram, obviously, making sure that I'm marketing myself the right way by using the proper pictures, going back to what I said earlier, curating right, and then talking about it. One of the things I was doing was putting a lot of pictures up. And so people are like, wait, are you a model? Are you modeling clothes for yourself? So now I'm trying to do better about creating reels because most times when I am helping clients, most of it is men, because it is called the Style Maverick. And a lot of times you hear me using the term Maverick man, Maverick man, Maverick man. So I try to market it as best as I can through my social media platforms.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think to your point, at the core, we have all these hacks, all these tricks and all this to do. The first thing you got to do is show up. To your point, you have to show up. There's no getting around it. You can sit at the drawing board and put all these strategies together, which can be great. But as a baseline, you have to show up. And I think that's a bigger hurdle for most people than they would like to admit. It has been for me, even though I know the value of it, it has been a hurdle for me to show up because subconsciously, even the most confident person is like, oh my God, I got to have this right, this perfectionism, my
Uh-huh.
background, my this, my that. And it's like, show up, get your
Show up.
background together as you go, but develop the habit of showing
Show
up.
right. Now, I can talk about that again, a conversation that we've had being friends over the years. That's half the battle, showing up.
Yeah.
And you know me, I am such something that I really work on daily, or recently I've been working on daily, is trying to detach myself from this perfectionism. There's a really good friend of mine. We were having a conversation last week, and something he said that was so great. He goes, there's a difference with quality control and perfectionism. And I said, oh my goodness. He says, because that's the problem. So many of us, we're trying to be so perfect. We want
Right.
everything. So our lighting, our this, or that. And he goes, there's nothing wrong with that. But understand the difference with wanting everything to be perfect and quality control, wanting everything to look of quality, taste of quality if you're a chef, making sure someone's home is done with quality if you're an interior designer, or whatever that is. So half the battle is showing up because in my past, for me, because I wanted everything so perfect, it kept me from not showing up.
From
Oh,
launching.
I
Yeah.
recorded this, but I'm not going to post it.
Right.
Oh, I took this picture, but I'm not going to post it. You know what I mean? So you have to show up, because as another good friend of mine said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be out. And I said,
Yep.
He was like, it needs to be out, because if it's not out, if nobody sees it, nobody knows that Kelly exists. Nobody knows that
No.
she has a podcast. Nobody knows that she has the brand. Nobody knows what she does if she
Yep.
doesn't show up.
And that's something that I have been personally working on this year. I never thought to phrase it that way, quality control versus perfectionism, but I have been being very deliberate in when I'm working on something and I'm in my head about nitpicking, or what in my mind, I'm calling nitpicking. I have to develop a sort of just baseline of quality and say, okay, does it check these marks? Okay, great. So then get it out and work on it, or edit it later, or for next time, or whatever. But like a lot of people, if everything didn't used to be checked off, then it wasn't going out. And then you're like, okay, so you didn't put this out because this little thing that's crazy. Like you look back on all the drafts and all the camera roll, and you're like, what happened to it? Oh no, I didn't put it out. Why did I put it? Oh, that hair was out of place on my pic. Girl, put this this thing out and quit playing with these people, and just make sure it's, put it as part of your SOPs, put a last looks. We've been recording weekly webinars, and it's a very extensive process. And sometimes I would get caught up. Now I'm putting out valuable content, and my picture is this big of a square. But if I were to look back at the video and see little stuff was out of place, it would make me think twice about putting out this content. And I had to ask myself, first of all, you barely can be seen. Second of all, if it bothers you that much, put this one out, and then put in your steps a last look. Before you press record, there's a step that says, okay, get a camera out and make sure everything is good before you, get in this process. Yeah.
Bingo. Yeah. You again.
So crazy.
I know about it. Listen, I keep saying it. We've been friends a long time, so I know about it. I want everything. Oh, it's my hair. Oh my God, my glasses. Oh, let me make sure there's no fingerprints on it. And again, nothing is wrong with that to a degree.
But I like the quality control.
The control. Yeah.
And perfectionism, because that probably gives it a really good either end of it. Quality control. Yes, you want it to look good, you want it to be clean, you want it to be professional, but if these little small things aren't done, that falls under perfectionism, and you need to move forward and get the project out, and then maybe come back with a step that helps you not have these small things that are bothering you in the future.
Yeah.
So what is next for Cedric DeCarlo?
Oh, what is next? So I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this. I'm sure we have. I'm really big with media. I want to get more involved in the media world. I actually took some hosting courses. So, I would love to do like some on-air work. So I've been working on that. I've had so many people say over and over again, oh my God, why don't you have a podcast? Oh my God, why don't you have a YouTube? And right back to what we just said, perfectionism. Oh, this. So I ordered podcast equipment finally, right?
I love it.
I've been doing a lot of research on, okay, what do I want my YouTube to be about? How would it be? And it's really, the answer's already there. So it's just me moving forward, quality control versus wanting everything to be perfect. So I would say next would be developing a podcast, bringing on Maverick men and some Maverick women. Come on, Kelly.
I love it.
To talk about lifestyle things. Again, lifestyle, not just fashion, whether it's music, whether it's culinary arts, whatever it is that he or she does, bringing guests on, again, those Maverick men, those Maverick women, to talk about what they do in their industry and why they're so passionate about it. So that's next, is kind of putting together a plan to figure out exactly how I want that to look and sound and be. Yeah, so that would be next. And then also getting some sort of product out there. That is the biggest thing. Getting some product out there, a product out there with my name on it, right? Does that happen overnight? No. But I have been doing some research on one or two things on, okay, this would probably work. Would she buy this? Would he buy this? Would he like this? Would she like this? So I have been doing a lot of research on two particular products that I am really considering developing. Again, something with my name on it,
I
Cedric
love it.
DeCarlo. Yeah, yeah. So that's what's next. That's what's next.
Well, that wraps today's show. Thank you to our incredible guest, Cedric DeCarlo, the Style Maverick, Lifestyle Curator, and famous for the catchphrase, I say yes.
I say yes. Well, listen, I say yes to this podcast. Yes to what you
Yes.
are doing. I am so excited for you. Keep it up. Keep doing what you do. You have it. I say yes.
Thank you so much, love. I appreciate it. And we're going to have contact information for Cedric in the show notes, any brands that he's working with or developing or launching. So if you've enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and review. Until next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.